normally say ladies first, but I want to say a very warm good morning to everyone here today. It's really heartwarming to see we have a diverse audience, and I hear there's traffic, so I bet by the time this program goes halfway, we'll probably have people standing. So I want to say thank you so much, and if you felt a little bit stressed out there, please pardon us. Today, as you all know, is the Public Affairs Secretary Consul General's program marking the International Day of the Girl Child. It falls within the weekend, but we didn't want us all to miss out on this very, very important day, and especially addressing a very important, member of the society, because without the girl child, there's no future. So on that note, I want to welcome my colleague Ibrahim, who's also very hard on this program, to say a few more and acknowledge our distinguished guest today.
Thank you, Benny. We are all welcome to the day where we want to mark International Day of the Girl. That's to tell you how important you are. We have girls from Pearls Africa Foundation, Holy Child College, and the Pentecostal College. But you guys will not be alone to mark today's event. We'll have participants joining from all around the federation. We'll have people joining from Kano, Maiduguri, Bauchi, Sokoto, Enugu, Port Harcourt, Calabar, and Ibadan, and also from another location here in Lagos. So it is an International Day of the Girl. Now, to open this big event and welcome us all, we will be inviting someone who believes in the rights of the girl, who believes in girl empowerment, women empowerment, who believes in the good relationship between Nigeria and the United States of America. Ladies and a few gentlemen like myself.
Let me just interject. She's one woman who's been running the helm of affairs for a couple of months now, and she is actually holding that title of Consul General, and she's doing a wonderful job. Please let us know the name, Ryan.
Madam, they have Gabriel. You're welcome now.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Look at these beautiful girls. You are so adorable. Good to have you here. Are you happy to be here? Yeah? Can you tell me what we're doing here? Why did you come today? Who's going to tell me? Can I have, go ahead. To celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child. This is wonderful, all of you. You look so wonderful. We're really, really happy to have you here. The uniforms are beautiful. How many of you have been here before? Great, fantastic, good. This was maybe last year to celebrate the same event. Yeah. But just to say that although we come together to celebrate you once a year in October 11th, we always think about you. We visit your schools. We think about your education. So it's really important not only to focus on this once a year. We should be thinking about it all the time. So I encourage you to come to use our library, to come and use resources. And the message that I want to get across, I'm not the keynote speaker. We have a special person that we invited all the way from the United States to speak to you on the subject of the importance of the girl child. But what I want to do is just to take a moment to say, really, it's very, very important to stay in school. Very important. Also, there are things that you can do for yourself, and there are things that are beyond your control. But if you just do all the right things for yourself in the areas that you have control, other things will take care of themselves. Do you hear me? Yeah. So, and then education is at the heart of everything. If you do well in education, you will continue to go to higher level to college, and basically choose a career that you really want to develop and be successful in what you want to do. So just remember, somebody mentioned about, and we'll talk about it later on too, the challenge that girls have staying in school, especially in the rural areas. And all of us need to think about that and make sure that the government authorities, the private sector provides the support that's needed for girls to have equal opportunity like boys. Stay in school, dream big, and accomplish their dreams. So think about this and remember. Now it's my pleasure and honor to introduce a dear friend, a colleague, a quintessential diplomat who served Nigeria really well here in Lagos and also in Abuja. I think he may have been too young and maybe you didn't participate in programs when she was here, but it's been an honor for us to have her here. She has served at the State Department for over 30 years in diplomacy, in enhancing human rights, democracy, environmental issues, the girl child in particular, equal rights for everyone. So you name it, she's done it. And I want you to remember this day and this opportunity because you will be hearing from someone who has done diplomatic work in many parts of the world, but who also cares passionately about Africa. She has been distinguished by the department in many, many ways, and her voice is a strong voice that speaks on behalf of the voiceless. So without any further ado, I want to introduce my friend Atim George.
Thank you so much, Mihab. Good morning. I am just going to put my staphylococcus here. And I'm going to grab this extra bottle of water. Yes. So I have it close by. And because I lived and worked in Nigeria, I have to start with the protocols and acknowledge the presence of a woman of great stature who has excelled in many different sectors of the Nigerian economy. If you look to the question of women's empowerment, you will find her. If you look to fashion, you will find her. If you look to business, you will find her. If you look to education, you will find her. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome the Iya Oge of Lagos, Chief Oprah Benson. Thank you, Mom, for gracing us. I can't stop there. I also have to tell you that we are graced with the presence of an official from the U.S. Department of State, a U.S. diplomat, a Foreign Service officer who is currently the director for the speaker program for the entire U.S. Department of State. She's joining us here from Washington. Her name is Ebony York. Ebony, thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. I had an opportunity to go around and welcome just about everyone and shake everyone's hand. But for those of you who are just arriving and didn't have the opportunity to make that personal connection, on behalf of my friends and colleagues, I want to welcome you. We are thrilled that you saw fit to find time to come here to what we call the powerhouse to share this very important day. I think maybe I can put this down and use this. Okay. Can you hear me loud and clear? Yes. Yeah. So I prepared a paper that I'd like to share with you, and then I'm hoping we could do some questions and answers. Yes? All right. Beautiful. The name of this paper is She Got Game. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this most important gathering today. As an American of African descent, a sister, a daughter, a mother, a grandmother, and a global citizen, I'm deeply honored to be a part of this program. Today, I want to pose one question for you to ponder. In my hood, a question frequently asked is, "She got game?" While this expression does not fit the contours of the Queen's English, it raises fundamental issues I firmly believe have relevance for our deliberations today. The term game has many meanings. The notion that she got game implies that the woman is bright, skilled, resourceful, innovative, perhaps even cunning or daring. In this presentation, I intend to explore some of the meanings of game and how they relate to women and girls in today's rapidly globalizing world. Game is a powerful metaphor for life in general, and politics in particular. There is a field of play. There are sometimes clearly defined rules, coaches, umpires, adversaries, teammates, and outcomes: win, lose, or draw. In this case, Nigeria constitutes the playing field. The Electoral Act provides the rules. INEC is the referee. Your benefactors and supporters are your teammates, and the candidates standing against you if you're running for elective office are your worthy opponents. Now, as a young girl in America, I grew up playing jacks, hopscotch, and double dutch, a form of jump rope I never mastered. These were girls' games, and according to the rules of these games, if you made a mistake, you had to begin all over again. These rules influenced the female members of my generational cohort. How? While playing jacks, for example, if you made a mistake at foursies, you had to start at onesies when it was your turn again. What a message to program into the girl child's head. Upon encountering an obstacle or setback, she might be inclined to quit the game because she does not want to start all over again. Fortunately for me, I also built ant castles and played chess with my older brother. I learned that I could not contain or control the ants, even though I had a good time trying. From chess, I learned to think and act strategically. I learned to anticipate my opponent's next move, and I learned that losses, such as that of a queen, could be reversed if you understood and applied the rules of the game effectively. How many of you play chess? Aha. Very good. If your pawn, for example, reaches your adversary's last rank, she will become a queen. And chess players know that the queen is one of the most powerful, agile, and versatile pieces in the game. I submit that the game also implies a love or a passion for sport. In my case, the game that I truly love is basketball. Any basketball players in the house? Aha. It allows for individual creativity, but also insists on teamwork. I play two different positions, forward and center. An athlete who loves her game devotes hours to practicing and perfecting her craft. And her efforts are not in vain. Basketball players have an expression of being in the zone. I had one of those games where I made every shot that I took. But more typically, there were missed shots, fouls, and sometimes defeat. But students of the game know that loss, obstacles, and setbacks, when used to good purpose, can provide our most lasting lessons and become very effective teachers. Indeed, capable and committed coaches and players review game tapes and learn from their mistakes, as well as to assess the strengths and the weaknesses of their opponents. So as in life, so in politics. Let's look deeper into the concept of game together. As you seek to serve your communities, perhaps by pursuing elective office, remember you must have a game plan. My beloved Uncle Arthur taught me to plan your work and work your plan. Can we affirm that together? Plan your work and work your plan. Have you assessed the playing field? Who are your allies, your adversaries, those you can win over? What are the issues? And what impact does poor governance have on the lives of everyday Nigerians? What plans and programs do you intend to implement or support to address and remedy these problems? Now, there are 3 tiers of government: local, state, and national. I like to think of local government as the Okada, but now I'm seeing that they have, what are these, Marwas? Do they have the 3-legged ones? Aha, yes. It's close to the people, and it takes you right to your doorstep. Effective local government provides essential services, but of course, we all know the hazards of a reckless, ill-equipped Okada driver. Now, the state government, in my view, is like the Danfo. It's larger than an Okada, but unlike the Okada, it doesn't provide door-to-door service. The Danfo is accessible to most, but you must travel some distance to use its services, and you have to compete with a larger number of people seeking its attention and resources. Now, to extend the metaphor, the federal government is the luxury bus. It has a much larger reach, but you must travel an even greater distance to engage this tier of government. And my experience teaches me that you need to have greater capacity, knowledge, contacts, financial resources, etc., to connect effectively with this tier of government. And here's a very important message. Nevertheless, it is absolutely vital for citizens to engage government at every level, because governance is much too important to be left solely to government. Citizens must get and stay involved. And I think that bears repeating. Governance is much too important to be left solely to government. Citizens must get and stay involved. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Now, for the sake of our conversation, the citizen can be compared to a member of a team. What is the player's state of readiness? Is she well nourished and fit? Does she understand the rules of the game? Is she well informed? Does she know her rights as well as her responsibilities? Is she a leader? And if so, has she demonstrated mastery as a creative problem solver? Has she formed alliances with like-minded people to make a difference for good in her family, school, house of worship, community, or nation? I ask these questions because, in my humble opinion, it's not enough to have women or anyone in high places if we don't see an improvement in the quality of life. Now I'm going to take you back some time. During her April 2007 visit to Nigeria as the leader of the National Democratic Institute's Election Observer Mission, the former United States Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, said that she believes that there is a special place in hell reserved for women who do not support other women. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not intend to occupy that fiery furnace. I pledge to support the team of people, women and men, who have the best interest of the people in mind. Candidates and later officials who share the people's democratic aspirations, and leaders who are dogged in their commitment to make a difference for good. Are you ready for the challenges that await you? Ooh, I didn't hear anybody.
Yes.
Wait, let me ask that again. I want to make sure. Are you ready for the challenges that await you?
Yes.
I believe you this time. If so, please remember that when preparation meets opportunity, they inevitably produce success. Now, I think that bears repeating. When preparation meets opportunity, they inevitably produce success. Now, my favorite definition of success comes from an American management guru by the name of Paul Mayer. Let me take this swig of water and I'll share that definition with you. He teaches that success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal. Now you determine what's worthwhile, but remember that it is progressive, step by step and precept by precept. And in the face of setback or defeat, the player with game continues to practice, knowing that ultimately she will attain mastery. So, consider the following attributes, and if you find them of value, I invite you to incorporate them into your toolkit and to use them consistently in your game. You may be astounded to see the results you achieve. So let's take the word game as an acrostic. G-A-M-E. Got that?
Yes, ma'am.
G. Guts. Intestinal fortitude. Guts also stands for get up to speak. Young ladies, speak up. Speak your mind. You must be able to articulate the aspirations, goals, and priorities of your communities and constituents. Remember the African proverb, that teaches that a stream that forgets its source will soon run dry. Stay grounded in the interest of your community and your constituents. In a democratic dispensation, government derives its authority, power, and legitimacy from the governed. Let's go on to A, achievements. Yes, ladies, in this game, we keep score. What have you done to demonstrate your concern, your competency, your compassion? My friend Snoop taught me that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Are the clinics in your community staffed with competent professionals? Do they have adequate medication and equipment? Are the schools girl-friendly? Do they have libraries, laboratories? What track record can you run on? And if you don't have one, Start building it today. Let's go on to M. Men, money, and a motivating message. Let's face it, we can't transform the conditions of the poor and the vulnerable without the support and assistance of men. Our brothers, our fathers, our uncles, our friends. Men matter. And we all know that we need money and resources to run campaigns. But in order to be effective as a leader, you must have a motivating message that inspires people to support you with their time, their talents, their money, and if you're running for political office, with their votes. Let's go on to the E in game. Ethics. To truly make a difference for good, you must adhere to an honorable standard of conduct. Your ethics will serve as a moral compass and a guidance system to steer your course through the trials and tribulations that you will inevitably encounter. A great teacher once counseled to be wise as the serpent and harmless as the dove. So as you can see, the journey Nigeria has embarked upon is one fraught with obstacles and adventure. And if you practice and play the game with diligence, you will achieve rewards. So let me close with a true story. In the year 2001, I was invited to a program called Where My Girls At. Held on the campus of Howard University, I was to serve on a panel to discuss career opportunities in diplomacy. In preparing for the discussion, the organizers gave each panelist a questionnaire covering issues of education, motivation, etc. I still remember the last question. It read, "When did you know you were a success?" Now, at first, I thought that was a trick question. But as I pondered the matter, I came to realize that I considered myself a success when I could open the doors of opportunity to and for others. During my 30 years of diplomacy and beyond, I've come to recognize that when you seek to serve, when you run the race with diligence and passion, there's always a blessing. So when I speak of rewards and success, I mean create opportunities for individual and national development. In my view, that's when you know that she got it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I think on that note, we could maybe open it up for questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, and then you're going to give us the questions that are coming from our satellite locations around the country as well?
Yes.
Beautiful. So, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open, and we'd certainly like to hear from you. Questions or comments? And I really want to hear from the young ladies in the audience because this is all about you. We're celebrating you. We want you to know how important you are to us. Thank you.
Will they ask on the paper you presented or any issues with the girl child?
We can start with the paper,
Okay,
and we can take a look at issues related to the girl child.
thank you.
One of my teachers once taught me, Atim, you should always have an inventory of unanswered questions. Now I take that to mean be a lifelong learner, be curious. And remember when we did the word game, G-A-M-E, the very first thing was guts, intestinal fortitude, And GUTS also stands for Get Up to Speak. So again, I challenge our audience. I imagine you have some questions or comments. Yes, please. Your hand went up?
The comment.
Okay. Here comes the microphone so everyone can hear.
My name is Yinka Davis.
Yinka, is that Yinka?
That's right.
Girl! You're welcome.
Ladies, young ladies, this woman met me. I'm trying to tell you something so you can ask the question. You're bold to ask the question. She met me was about 15 years ago. And this was what she told me. To whom much is given. What, do you understand that? To whom much is given? To whom much is given? Do you know the book she wrote? That, what you just said now, in a book. I won't lie to you, I did not read the book. What she said has haunted me till today. This is 15 years on. So you see the woman you're looking at, she knows exactly what she's saying. What she's written in this is a comment, I'm just commenting. I need you to understand that she is telling you something that you should practice what you are reading now. Put it into practice. And I'm here because I'm going to learn a lot more now. I have a paper here. Baby people, I've got game.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my lady.
Well, listen, while we're waiting for the questions, I'm coming to get a hug. Yinka, Yinka.
Oh.
So here, you looking good, girl? All right. Okay, am I gonna have to start calling on people?
Okay.
Oh, here's the question. Thank you. The microphone is on its way.
Good afternoon. My name is Fondia Gonte, and I have two questions to ask. Okay, my first question is, after listening and reading this, I can term everything and the girl child as a feminist. But my question is, how can a girl who is not well educated raise up her voice or be able to speak out for other girls if she's not well educated?
Well, that's the very point. Remember, when preparation meets opportunity, because you actually, if you are not prepared, you may not even recognize opportunity. So your challenge as young people is to be well prepared and well equipped and take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself to develop skills and knowledge. Because if you want to be credible as a leader, you have to know what the issues are. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you to jump out there and not be prepared. Study to show thyself approved. Yes, you have a second question.
I had to write this down.
It's okay.
In a society where the girl child and women are relegated to the background, as evidenced in the ministerial nominees, how do we go about our game?
I think what's really important is part of the key that I gave you in the paper, that governance is much too important to be left solely to government. Citizens must get and stay involved. So let's look at your life and your sphere of influence. Family, school and classmates, maybe church, mosque, or temple, and on and on and on. Civic organizations, sports teams, you begin where you are to build a better society. A very dear friend of mine once told me, lead where you land. And as we talk about success, that progressive realization of a worthwhile goal, we're not talking about power overnight. We're talking about building a solid foundation for advancement. And from what I can see right here, right now, I am very encouraged, and I see a very promising future for you and for Nigeria. Don't lose heart. Do not lose heart.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your questions. Next. Yes, we have one here. The microphone is coming.
Thank you. Actually, I'm not asking a question. I'm adding to what you said.
Could you give us your name?
Sorry, thank you. My name is Masama Obi, and I'm a student of Holy Child College. Not just where you are actually. We have us. That's why we have internet here. You go on social medias. You have Instagram. You have Twitter. You have Facebook. You tweet about fighting for the girl child. You post pictures fighting for the girl child on Instagram. Even on Facebook, you write things about girl child. Wherever you are in school, you can create committees or something that will help fighting girl child, talking to people on how to encourage the girl child. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, question here. Or a comment.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mwako Chisum from Holy Child College. I have a question. Like, let's say if one of us here decides to be fight for the rights of the girl child in the future, how would you advise us to start with, or to start with how we're going to fight for the girl child in the future?
Well, there's no time like the present. So I would say begin right where you are to prepare yourself, because I think the task of each human being is to learn how to lead her life. And so if you want to be an advocate for the girl child, leadership is an inside job. So start within. I was talking to a group of young leaders yesterday, and I shared with them that each one of us has an internal power grid, a matrix, if you will, of energy and ideas. And so part of the challenge of a leader is to get going, get things going. And how do you do that? You do that by looking around where you are and assessing the situation. Is there a problem that you can identify? Leaders are known as creative problem solvers. So you can begin to make common cause with like-minded people, boys and girls, who see the problem that you see and work together to generate solutions. That's really what leadership is about. You might start out just looking at your school and thinking, maybe we need more resources about the girl child. How can we do that? You decide. If you look around, there are opportunities everywhere you look to make a positive difference. Thank you for your question. I'm just curious whether we have any questions coming in from our colleagues in, I think, Calabar and Bauchi and Sokoto and Kano and around the country. Please don't hesitate to share those with us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, what happens to the girls in the rural area?
Your name?
My name is Favor Mechi from Pearls Foundation. What happens to the girls in the rural area who do not go to school? Reasons maybe because they don't have anyone to train them through school and they are willing to go.
That's a real challenge. The question is, what happens to the girl child in the rural area who has the desire for formal education, but not the resources for formal education? I think one place to look, well, actually, I can immediately think of two places. One is to family, and in the Nigerian context, when we say family, we mean extended family. Yes? It could be an auntie, an uncle, it could be a godparent who will help you with your school fees. And the other one is your house of worship. Maybe your temple, your mosque, your church that recognizes the passion that you have for learning and will support you in your education. And then there are civic organizations that will help, that might provide you a scholarship or cover your bursary. So don't be afraid to ask.
Thank you.
We have another question here. Ladies, I'm very, very pleased with what's happening. Thank you so much.
My name is Atim. I would like to ask a question about the game, the equitable game, because, like you said, we should get up to speak. But like some of us who try to speak to the public, to them our opinion don't matter, especially to those who are in the stage of poverty. So what do we do about that problem?
So the question is, when I talk about having guts, getting up to speak, how do you get your message across to someone who's in poverty? Did I get the question right? I think part of that challenge is to meet people where they are. And frankly, if any of you have ever gone to school without having breakfast, about the middle of the morning, your head starts to hurt and you can't concentrate. So if you want to engage those who are economically, financially less fortunate than yourself, you might start with something to eat and drink. Helping to meet the basic needs, then give the message. Because how many of us can concentrate if we're hungry and hurting? So I think that's the place to start. And I really appreciate that question because to me it suggests that here's a person who's compassionate. Just like the other young lady who asked about the girl child in the rural areas. It's something that Sister Yinka reminded us of. To whom much is given, much is expected. Now, ladies, I have to break this transmission because another powerful woman, a chief, as an attorney, the executive director of Ward C, Women's Advocate and Research Documentation Center, is with us, and I gotta give you a hug, please. Thank you so much. How are you, welcome. This lady, I think, has to say a word or two. We didn't tell her that we're going to expect her to speak, but she has been laboring in the field of women's empowerment for years. She has taken the cause of Nigerian women in particular, African women in general, to the United Nations. She is seated in high places. Her opinion, her research, her work is sought after around the world. Please, my dear, could you just come up and say just a few words for us to our daughters here who would benefit from your wisdom and experience? Please. Around the country that are beaming in via technology.
Well, thank you very much, my very good sister. I'm actually listening. Yeah, it's good to see you. Thank you so much, and thank you also for the honor of coming to say one or two things here. Ladies, are you fine? Right. Yeah, I think this is very important, and I want to thank the US Embassy for doing this, and of course getting somebody as a mentor to a lot of us as a judge to come and speak to you. Because I think that one of the first places we are looking at her, because I came in when she was asking that question. And I remember my sister Ayobe said some time ago that at times you probably need to discover your voice. You know, and when you discover it, you just want to come out and speak. And once you start speaking, you won't stop. You'll keep talking about your issue. And let me just refer back to myself. I started off when I was 13 years old. I was a student in one of the very unknown public schools in the Shogo Grammar School. It was founded in 1950, so it's been there for a long time. And I was 13 and I was in school. And we realized that the youth corpus that they brought to school, when it's time to do agri. They come into the class, and then we used to have big sisters in school that you call auntie this, auntie that. So they come into the class and say the aunties should follow them to the staff quarters. Then we should go and cut grasses. So we're doing that, and then one day I thought that was not good, and I felt that I needed to mobilize my other students, fellow students, to report this matter to the principal of the school. So I gathered them and I brought them back to class, and I said, girls, boys, we won't continue to do this anymore. We needed to do something more. Report this to the principal that we cannot continue to go cut classes when we take, some of our classmates no older than us, anyway. And you know what that means. So we gathered together, and of course it became very unruly because we were 13, 14, 12-year-old. So we were screaming, and I was standing on top of the table so that you can hear my voice. Everybody, we cannot do this anymore. We would have to go to the principal, and while we're doing that, it became a big rowdy thing. And the principal had from his office, then walked down and said, Akiode, what are you doing here? And I just said, oh, no, sir, I was just trying to, and he said, okay, follow me to the office. So when I got to the office, of course, I would probably have gotten a suspension for, behaving in that manner. So when I got to the office, he said, why did you do that? Then I explained to him and said, oh, that has been happening, and you guys didn't tell anybody. He said, no. So he said, okay, let's go to the staff quarters. Let's go and get them. So we went together to the staff quarters, and we went together, and that was the end of that practice in school. So my point is that from that very day, I discovered my voice. I started talking in school about issues of children. I started talking in schools about other issues. I remember that by the time I got to Form 5, I became the president of the Literary and Debating Society. When I was 13, 14, I was talking about apartheid in South Africa. I was talking about stories of yellow journalism. This was 83, 84, 85, time. And I was talking about contemporary issues then. And I won the national debate competition for the whole of Nigeria, of the Osun State Division. And I was competing. So from there, I discovered my voice and I started talking. So by the time I got to the university, it was just almost automatic that I was going to become a member of the Students' Union. And I was there and I saw a lot of ladies not being allowed to do things like that. And I said, where a tradition is lacking, a striking example becomes necessary.
Oh, yeah.
But that's for the leadership of the school. And I also wanted to we need to discover ourselves, because if we discover ourselves, we'll be able to change the society. The country depends so much should depend on girls, because we are going to be the mothers of tomorrow. You are going to be our future. You are going to be the one to change Nigeria. Please don't let anybody pull you back. You have got the game. Just ask my sister, and you go for it. Thank you.
Wow. I can say that backwards. Wow. We didn't even tell her. We just said, hey, we're coming. And here she is. Thank you so much. Thank you for those words of inspiration. Brother Aliyu,
Yes,
questions?
yes, from Calabar. At what time can a girl child be given a certain level of freedom? From American Caller in Calabar.
Isn't freedom our birthright? Isn't freedom our birthright? From conception, from the time you leave your mother's womb, don't you inherit that precious gift of freedom? I would say yes. But let me ask for a legal opinion. What do you say, attorney? Freedom is our birthright. I checked it with the constitutional lawyer here. Freedom is a human right. And so that's what we'll stand on, that guidance.
Okay, from Bauchi now. What strategies is related to a question asked earlier with a little modification. What strategies can we up north use to engage the girl child or woman who might have lost out of education as a result of early marriage or conflict?
That is a serious challenge in Nigeria today, but not just Nigeria. throughout Africa and the Middle East, it is a challenge. As our Consul General had said to the girls, the young ladies who are assembled here, education is critical and you must continue your education. Now, I would hope that some of the local NGOs, certainly I know Ward C is involved in programmatic activity to provide support to the girl child. And then I would want to look at civil society groups who are faith-based to also provide that counseling and support. And anyone who lives here in Nigeria knows the importance of family to that support. Sometimes, however, we suffer in silence. People don't know how much we're hurting. And we need to let people know, just like Abiola said, you have to find your voice. Whether you are formally educated or not, find your voice to ask for the help that you need. I think that's the starting point. But I would open it up to you. We've got resource persons in the office to see, in the hall, to see if anyone else has ideas or recommendations. Any other suggestions? Yes. Is it a suggestion or a question? Okay, so if we're agreed, then we'll move on to another question. Is that all right?
My name is Oluchi Fediba from Pentecost College. You said that freedom is our birthright. To me, that's a very ambiguous statement because hearing it is like when we go home, we should just do anything we want to do, freeing that, yes, we have the right to be free. But wouldn't that be a wrong thing?
Well, I think maybe we're interpreting things differently. Thank you for that clarifying question. As a human being, freedom is our birthright. But there's a difference between freedom and license. And I'm not giving you license to just do anything anyhow. Okay? For leaders, we're talking about self-discipline. There are times when you have to exercise restraint. But, you know, given the history of African people on this planet, the history of slavery, colonialism, imperialism, it is important to make the point that freedom is our birthright. It is a human right. Please, you have a follow-up. Could you give her the mic again?
Talking about the girl child, someone asks, what if the girl child is not educated? And another person asks, what if the girl child is ready but has no resources? But the issue whereby the parents are ignorant, having the feeling that the girl child is not important or has nothing more in society to do than ending up in the kitchen of a man. In that situation, how can we help it? The ignorance of our parents.
I must clap for this girl.
There has to be a
I'm gonna clap for her.
Because you know what you're asking for is structural change. Yes, we can take these problems one by one and we can address them in our sphere of influence, but we really have to make common cause with others of like mind to make structural changes in the ways resources are allocated, in the ways laws are enacted, because it's going to take a great deal of effort to remedy the problems that you've already identified, particularly for rural girls and women, for those who are uneducated, or whose parents don't recognize the value of education. So what I hear you saying is we need some structural change, changing our institutions and the ways we do business. And that is going to be on your work day. But know that you have people, seniors, elders who care, who understand, and who will support you. This gentleman has a question.
Okay. Yes. We have plenty questions from all over Nigeria. I'll read out one. Then hand out, I'll give a long list to you. This one is from Lagos, not Lagos us here, from American corner Lagos. He said, why can't the government of African countries make laws to fight the rights of the girl child in our society? From Ashafa Bola in Lagos here.
That's sort of similar to the question that we just took, right? You know, talking about the importance of structural and institutional change. At Calabar, at what time, well, I've already seen that one. At what time can a girl child be given a certain level of freedom? The American corner of Abuja, a girl child that has low self-esteem, what can she do, or how can she get up to speak? You might start practicing at home. You might just get in front of the mirror in your bathroom and talk to yourself about issues that are important, so that you practice, practice, practice. Because we know that when preparation meets opportunity, they inevitably produce success. So part of getting used to speaking is volunteering to do that. Some of you are leaving your comfort zone this morning or this afternoon and standing up and raising your voice to be heard. And I'm telling you, the level of sophistication and the level of questions that we're getting are very impressive. Well done. How can a girl child who got pregnant while in school be encouraged so as not to be a liability to herself and the community? That's coming from the American Corner in Abuja from Benjamin. You know, this whole question of early marriage and pregnancy is a key one. The quality of your life, ladies, will be determined by the quality of the choices that you make. One of the most important choices, I believe, is to delay your sexual dating. Take your time. Do not rush into any sexual activity. You need to mature before you engage in that kind of activity, and it has implications. Those girls who get pregnant early in life, particularly if they're not prepared, they don't have a skill or an education, are vulnerable, and their children are vulnerable, and you don't want that. You want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You want to be able to navigate in the world without having to worry about another human being until you're in a position to really provide for any children that you may have. So that's one of the things that I would counsel you about, because the implications are incredible. Again, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your choices. And I'm not sure how much support Nigeria has for single mothers, unwed mothers who perhaps are not educated.
None.
So it would be the informal and the extended family that would help.
Exactly.
Now, when I was at ABU in Zaria earlier this week, one of the lecturers got up and said 2 weeks ago she proctored a major exam, and in the course of the exam she heard a baby cry. And eventually they identified where the baby was when Mama decided she had to nurse the baby. But that lecturer took the decision that I am not going to drive out this young mother out of this exam. Obviously she didn't have childcare. Or if she did, she would have availed herself of it. And if she were kicked out of the exam, she would have to make provision to take it all over again. So she was compassionate she related the story, and then she went on to call for the university to provide more child care facilities. You know, so that's something we have to do. Again, the structural changes. From the Barack Obama American Corner here in Lagos, I think we've heard that one. Why can't the government of African countries make laws to fight for the rights of the girl child in our society? From the American Corner in Sokoto, what does the U.S. government doing in helping Nigerian government to achieve free girl child education in northeast Nigeria? And that's from Ibrahim Aliyu.
No, not this one.
Is there another Ibrahim?
From Sokoto. From Sokoto.
Huh?
From Sokoto.
Yes, in Sokoto, but still.
Clarify the Sokoto.
Our master of ceremonies. You know, I'm a retired U.S. diplomat, so I'm not living and working in Nigeria. And I can't speak to this specific question about the U.S. government and northeastern Nigeria. But let me tell you the little that I do know, because we have an American Corner at the University of Maiduguri. In fact, where they're beaming in from the American Corner there. I know when I served in this country, we went up to Maiduguri frequently. And before I left, I know that we made a grant of several millions of naira to the university, the mass communications department, to help them meet the Nigerian government requirement to do educational broadcasting. And you know that catchment area is Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger. So we felt that was a strategic investment that could make a difference. That's the only thing I can tell you about. I followed up when I was in Abuja to ask my colleagues about that broadcast investment that we made, and they promised to send me the link so that I can from time to time listen into their broadcasts. But I will leave it to my colleagues here to see if they can get some information on that. And then from Bauchi, what strategies can we use up north to re-engage the girl, child, and women who may have lost out on education? I think we also dealt with that one. And then American Corner Abuja, how do you affect the life of a girl that is limited by her parents' lack of education and exposure and has to hawk to support her family? I think we had to engage that question earlier too. Now, I just remember this whole question of the girl who has to hawk for her family. Some of you may know the name Tony Mourinho. He's a physician in practice in Ibadan, but he's also the founder of Educare Trust, a very powerful civil society organization. And one day he told me the story of a little girl that I call Fatima, who was about 7 years old, and she was out on the street selling ground nuts. And then she came into their center. And then she went over to the small library that they have there. And nobody slapped her hand and said, "Don't touch those books." But instead, they invited her to take a seat and begin to read. And then when she floated over to the small computer lab that they had, nobody slapped her hand and said, "Don't touch it." They said, "Here, sit down. I'll show you some things." And then one of their staff said, "Hey, why don't we go and buy all the ground nuts so she'll be free for the rest of the day?" She found a place of empowerment where she was encouraged to grow. And it was fortunate for her that she was able to take the money back to the family. But for me, that was a very powerful story of how we can make small differences that cumulatively can make a big difference in the lives of the vulnerable. That's from Tony Mourinho. This gentleman?
Good morning. My name is Thomas Uzokundu. I want to begin with the age limit thing she asked about at what age can a Nigerian child, girl, boy, of course this is about the girls anyway. Yeah, so I think it's the age limit is 18 in Nigeria. At that point, yes, you have a level of freedom, but still it comes with some responsibilities because you're still under the care of your parents. So as much as you look forward to being 18, you still have to be responsible. I also want to comment on the idea of some women being relegated concerning the ministerial list. There was some. That came as a result of the kind of society we are in. There's still this mentality that women should just be seen, maybe not heard.
Not maybe, not heard.
Okay, definitely not heard. So, leads me to the talk about structural change. It still has to be done from the home, because from the home we move to the society. You'll be surprised that there are educated people who know the value of education, who know that the girl child is as good as the boy child. Still, they relegate the girl child. These are educated people. Even in the schools, you find nursery rhymes where they tell you mommy in the kitchen cooking or something, and then the daddy's in the parlor maybe watching football or something. Yes. My son came home some time back and he was reciting that. My wife said, no, mommy in the kitchen, yes, cooking, but daddy is in the sitting room ironing clothes or something. Yes. That is where it begins. We have to start from the home. And I also want to say, girls, as much as you've been empowered in school, thank God you are some of the very lucky ones to be in school. Stay in school. And you're not staying in school just to be in school. Open your eyes, learn, keep yourself informed. Don't be in a hurry to jet out, and as you rightly said, keep yourself. There's this need for self-preservation. You have to preserve yourselves. And of course, there's also the need for self-respect. You are entitled to self-respect. You are human beings. Don't let anybody brainwash you and tell you you are less because you're a girl. No. Do not take that. Do not stand for that. I heard something once from someone I'm going to share with you because it's really resonated with me. And the person said, from the biblical point of view now, that when God created man, he created man from the earth, from sand, from dust. But when he created the woman from a rib, a bone. So who has a stronger formation? So you are very strong. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Thomas. I really appreciate that. You, in fact, raised an issue that came up in Zaria at ABU, and that was about the burden on women, and it came up again at the American Corner in Lagos, that not only am I working, I'm an active professional, but I'm married and I'm a mother and I have domestic obligations. So one young woman asked, how do I handle all of that? And one of the things that I said to her was, ask your husband for help. If you know you've got a business meeting coming up, you've got major reports due, turn to him. I said, whatever you call him, honey, baby, sweetie, love, whatever you call him, and say, I need help. And I also explained that with my grandchildren, My sons in love, they're not sons-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
In-laws can become outlaws, right? My sons in love, I tell them, we don't go for that babysitting business. You are parenting. And in one case, I had to kind of say, she needs some help. My daughter needs some help. She cannot do it alone. Working, commuting, shuttling back and forth. So ask for the help you need. And some of our sisters in Zaria stood up and talked about that, the importance of lessening the load of sharing the burden. Very, very important. So thank you, Thomas, for raising that issue in your observation. We have this young lady here. Oh, this gentleman and then this young lady.
Sorry, I just want to make one or two comments. My name is Rotimi Ekome. I publish the Intellectual magazine. Well, Inga Davis, I think you need to step into politics. I'm talking about the ministerial list now. And the lady who spoke, I think women of quality should step up into the political arena. It's very important. The reason why we have all those political writers in the House of Assembly making all kinds of laws and doing all kinds of things because some women have not stepped out to take charge. And I can be your campaign manager. Really. Women need to step out and take charge and let their voices be heard. Yes, we know we have many professional bodies of women who are doing great things, but that political arena, they need to go there and take charge. Thank you.
My name is Chichi Okafo. I'm the ED Ignite Nigeria, means Inspiring Girls Now and Technology Revolution. I want to make a comment for the person that made the comment, sorry, for the lady or the guy from Sokoto that said something on what is the US government doing on education stand for Nigeria. Coincidentally, Ignite is also in Katsina State, where we work with girls, making sure that we have more girls in science classes, including girls in STEM. And I think it's not just what the US is doing, wants to do. I think it's what we want to do. What is our perspective? Will the girls agree to go to school? We have that issue in Katsina, where we have clubs in 2 schools in Katsina State, Ignite clubs, and most of the girls that are members of the clubs are from the South, because of the cultural background or the norm, the cultural setting there that girls don't go to school and the girls are not ready to go to school. So it's not just what does the US want to do for us? It's what can we do for ourselves? Are the government, are parents ready to let their girls go to school? Are the girls willing to go to school? Because it's a problem we have in Katsina State, where we work with the girls. They're not ready to go to school. They believe marriage and all that is easier than sitting in the classroom to read. So if you ask them, they take the easier way out, which is marriage. It's not easy. Yeah, for them, because going to school, it's very easy. Because going to school, you have to sit down, sit in a class from morning to evening, and then you have to read, you have to take exams, you have to do your tests, you have to move from one class to the other. So it's, from my own point of view, from my own experience in Ignite, it's not what people want to do for us. It's, are we ready to sit down and take the bull by the horn and say, yes, this is what we want to do, and do it. Thank you.
We had a question back here. We had a young lady over here. And another young lady.
Hello, everyone. My name is Funke Treasure, General Manager, Radio 1. I want to speak to the issue of inclusion, disruption of pattern, and the role of the media in mainstreaming the issue of a girl child. One of our girls here this morning said, our opinions don't matter. That hit me. Now, this is what we're doing in Radio 1. For some of our grade A programs, so we have those big, important personalities. What we're doing is inviting students from secondary schools to join panelists so that they can have a voice. My sister said the other time, discover your voice. So if you're somebody who already has that kind of tendency to want to stand for the rest of the girls in your school, or stand for the rest of the girls in your community, you have a platform. I think what we, the media, should do more is have more inclusion in the way we present or mainstream issues. My brother over there talked about the family, how we portray the girl child even within the family setting. What about us in the media? How have we portrayed the girl child? Is it something we do once in a year, on the day of the girl child? Do we mainstream the issues of the girl child? So I'm asking all of us who are responsible today to disrupt our pattern. Let's change the way we do things. Let's ask young ones to be part of what we do. Let's ask our girls. Let's groom a generation of girls who discover their voices. Let's help them discover their voices. Let's include them in the things we do. And that way we can move the conversation forward. You talked about the ministerialist and why we have few women there. Perhaps we failed as the media in this country. Did we generate new names for our political class? Did we? What was our role in all of this? I think we need to be more proactive than reactive.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. My name is Elizabeth Oshimanajo. My first question is, how can we control teenage pregnancy in a community where it is neither discouraged nor encouraged? Why do I ask this question? In a situation whereby a girl child gets pregnant and she actually did not value education, she was just going to school because everyone around her were going to school, and she's not the only one who is pregnant in that kind of community, and her parent allows her to have the baby in the house, but they do not stop her from not having another child. So in a situation whereby the girl is not even aware of her rights and the value of education, what can be done to reach out to those people and to those girls and even to the people living in that community that do not discourage it nor encourage it?
And we have a question back here as well. Then we can come.
Good afternoon. My name is Oni Grace. I have a question now addressing the entire country. We have the issue of child labor, where females are being used as domestic helps at home. They're not being sent to school. They're just there working for somebody and somebody collecting the money and exploitation, exploiting the girl child. How do we address the situation in this country? It's a big challenge.
We'll take one more.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Atim. I want to first address a certain question somebody raised earlier, or an answer. She said by tweeting, Facebooking, I realized that we have too much ideas about the social media more than the physical relationship. One of the ways we failed, they failed our own generation, was that we always forget that the relationship we have people personally are more precious and have more impact than Facebook.
That's right.
And by the time you go on Facebook, you do this on Facebook and that, you don't even know me. You probably will meet me on the way and you don't know me. But by the time I come to you and say, don't do this, myself, I'm compelled not to try it.
That's right.
Because you're looking at me. So I will encourage you. Your campaign should be more physical.
That's right.
Organize small groups in your community. 4 of you. Stand against it. By the time you are 4, before you know it, you'll be 20, you'll be 40, 400. That is one. In my own way, why didn't we have enough women in the ministerial list? Sorry. I think, in my own view, I am to be blamed, you are to be blamed. Are you a member of any political party? Do you go to their meetings? I'm sorry, I've been thinking about it. Midnight, I watch your reel, and I watched the one on AIT, and I kept asking myself, everybody will set up where you're supposed to be in politics. Stop doing all this, go to work. I have never stand up once to attend a political party meeting in my own area. So am I not to be blamed, people? Are you not? We are educated, we don't go. The other time they were saying, Adefulire is not educated. Yes, but she has stand up. So people acknowledge her. So please, let's stand up. Let's go out and join them. If you don't go in there, you won't know what is in there. They won't recognize you. Who's going to vote for you? Tell me. Thank you.
You want to respond?
I'll respond to a couple, and then we have to get this young lady here and then some people back.
Okay, after that.
So this recurring theme about teenage pregnancy is coming up again. So one of the things that you need to do is to educate yourself and seek the guidance of responsible individuals, your parents, your priests, and so on, to be well educated. This is about your biology. Okay? But to your point about those communities where you see there's a problem of young girls getting pregnant and their parents not even discouraging them from getting pregnant yet again. That goes to some of the structural changes that need to be ushered in. And my advice is the same. Begin where you are with what you have to assess the situation, identify people of like mind to work with you to come up with creative solutions to the problems that you are identifying. I think that's very true. To my sister who challenged us, who said, that, hey, the ministerial list is in part a reflection of our lack of participation. One of my points is two of the greatest threats to democracy are ignorance and apathy. I don't know and I don't care. And that's why I made the point that governance is too important to be left to government or to political party bosses. You as citizens must get and stay involved. You as citizens are like that pawn that we talked about. The pawn may appear to be lowly, but once you understand the rules of the game, that pawn can be converted into a queen.
Yes, ma'am.
And the queen is one of the most powerful, agile pieces in the game. But if you don't know the rules of the game, you don't even know you have that power within you. That's why I started by saying that we have this power grid within, that leadership is an inside job. Begin with yourself. Then there was this question. Say again?
On child labor, using the girl child as
child labor. But I believe that Nigeria is a signatory to a number of international conventions. So now you have to go from the word to breathe life into those documents. That's the value of civil society. Saying to your government, okay, you've signed and you've ratified this treaty. Now we have an obligation to domesticate that law and enforce it. And it's going to be people like you who care deeply who are going to make a difference for good, and certainly making common cause with other like-minded individuals. There was a question up here, and then we have back here.
Thank you. Good morning once again. Actually, I'll be asking a question, I'll suggest, but I've been pondering an answer you gave to the question, how we can fight low self-esteem as girl child. And you said that we should start from home. But in my own view, honestly, I think one of the reasons why most girls are actually not bold, do not have high self-esteem is because the way their parents treat them. You can imagine a mother telling her child, a girl child, stay at home, don't go out, don't do anything, do not allow this child to go out with her friends. And then probably this girl has siblings and their boys. And then parents allow the boys to go out, come back the next day, come back by 2, do anything they want to do. Obviously, this girl is going to have low self-esteem. She won't be able to come out in public and do things right. There's one of my friends I know back then in primary school. She has low self-esteem. And then one time we went for a discussion, and then in this discussion we went to socialize, go talk to people. And then I was like, what's your problem? Why are you not doing anything? And then she's like, at home, my mom doesn't allow me go out. My mom doesn't allow me to do anything, so I don't know how to talk to people. And I'm like, what? I don't know about you, but I have to do something about this. So I'm asking Dr. Atim George, please, what can we do about this problem? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think we have another question back there. Low self-esteem.
Yes.
Don't you think that we're back to the question of what each one of us is called to do, to lead our own? I'm sorry, my apologies. I have to get back to the mic so they can hear me. To lead your own life. And if you know of girls who are in that situation, if they're your classmates and your friends, you can begin to help to build them up. You might share with them books that you've read, because if they're not getting the nourishment at home, hopefully there are other institutions like friends, their house of worship, sports clubs, and so on, where they can begin to get the exposure to the ideas so that they can practice and develop those skills. And then we'll come to this young lady.
Good afternoon. My name is Atim. So I approached my youth group in church with an idea for a magazine. And I was discouraged with like the attitude I got from the people I met with. I haven't really gotten any follow-up. So I decided that I was going to start a magazine myself. Of course, like I'm going to meet with some adults, people who have more experience in this field than I do. But I'm already anticipating like that reaction that I got before, that maybe they won't take me seriously. So what do you do when, like, as an educated girl child, you have an idea you want to lead, but then you don't take it seriously?
That's an important question. One of the suggestions that I would have for you is, if you met resistance with the people that you approached, scan your environment. It may not be the specific people that you approach in your church. It might be the choir director, or it might be a coach, or it might be a teacher, or someone who's teaching you a musical instrument, where if you take the idea to them, they would be supportive and help to guide you. And then also, as I say, look at that immediate sphere of influence of people of like mind who may want to start a project that's similar. It doesn't have to be the same thing. You might get someone to say, oh, okay, well, let's do a yearbook instead. I don't want to take on the responsibility of a magazine, but a publication that comes out once a year, I'd be willing to work on that. So be flexible in terms of
how when she was all that she did that. Meanwhile, we could have taken the step and spoken to the girl or talked to the girl that see, this is your future you're talking about. Tell her about this advantage. So the first step to be taken is to introduce topics in pregnancy in our educational system.
I think that's a key question and task that you as Nigerians will have to take on. There's a young lady. We want to make sure that people who haven't had a chance to make comments or ask questions we do hear their voices. Please.
Mrs. Head of State, College, I would like to talk about low self-esteem. Low self-esteem shouldn't be a problem, especially when it's from your home. Once you have your parents, they're the ones who give birth to you. You should try to let them know this is not what you want. You should try to build your esteem. You should try to go for what you want. I believe on this thing. Keep trying and never give up. You should let your parents know that that's not what you want, that you have, that mom, if my brothers are going out, mom, why can't you should try to let them tell you why you should not go out. Yes, because definitely most parents, because you are a girl child, they will not like us to go out because of like boys or all these things that happen, because nowadays in Nigeria going out on the streets it's not good at all, especially for the girl children. You should like when your parents like tell you not to go out, like tell them, mom, why don't you want me to go out? Dad, why is this happening? You can organize your parents, you can have a meeting, you can tell them, mom, this is not what I want. You should go for what you want. If you have esteem, if you know what you want, you go for it and you definitely have it.
Good afternoon. My name is Ukebudebra. In a situation where the House of Assembly is mostly made up of past, corrupt, old, and mostly Northerners, and we all know they make the laws, what do we do when they pass such disgusting and selfish laws for their benefit? Like the time when the bill for girl marriage was proposed by one of the members. What if that bill was passed? What will become of us, the girls? We say we need the government in situations like this, but what government do we need when they are the ones encouraging things like this instead of opposing them?
Do I sense the beginnings of a political campaign? Yes. And are we going to encourage you? Yes. Part of it is the guts, get up to speak, raise the issues that are important to you, identify people you can work with to make a difference. If you have to get on top of the desk, like my sister Aviola did, and then shout from the rooftop, this is wrong, to get the attention of those who are in authority, do what you must, within the bounds of the law.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Oyetola Oyewun. I have a question. In the case where a girl child knows that she has these rights, she goes to school, she's free. But sometimes girls, they tend to be a bit wild. And because they know that they have this support wherever they go, they may start misbehaving or forget their duties at home. So how can organizations address this situation so that girls, they will be able to go to school, but they still remember that they have duties at home?
Well, we should all have responsibilities. It shouldn't just fall on the girl child, right? That's what we're saying, that we want to share the joys and the burdens, right? And then those organizations that you mentioned, hopefully they're organizations that the girl child has an interest in, whether it's music or dance or sports or politics. Find your passion. Follow it. It will lead you to your purpose. Yeah. But to just say, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to stay home and do chores, I think life offers us a richer array of opportunities than that, right? Okay. I'm not saying don't do your chores, don't get me wrong. Okay. But you might be like our sister here who said, I'm going to ask my parents why. Why is it that I'm washing the dishes, but my junior brother is not.
Exactly.
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
And you may find while you're living under their roof that that's the way they want to work it. And so you have to respect that while you're living in their home. But I do believe you can question authority respectfully.
Exactly.
Sometimes, you're just going through the motions, you don't question it. And the person you're questioning hadn't even thought about it. They're like on automatic pilot, right? So one of the ways that you can begin to raise consciousness is to stir things up a little by asking those questions. Again, respectfully. I think we are rounding up. Yeah, it's about time. But I'd like to round up with a brief story that I'd like to share with you. It's a story about a young boy. His name is Remy. He's from a small village. And frankly, he didn't like living in the rural area. He was frustrated. He made his way through school, and when he completed secondary school, he went to his father, and he said, "Father, if you have something for me, Papa, please give it to me now so I can make my way out of this town." And his father gave him a small inheritance. And Remy went off, I think it was to Ibadan, and he was living pretty high on the hog. He started a business that failed. He was frustrated, and just at that point, he learned that his father had passed. So his first order of business was, okay, I'm going back to my father's house, and I'm going to collect his things and sell his house and start again. So when he got to the village and he went into his father's home, he found his way to the back, and he saw his father's tools. His father was a farmer. And something just compelled him to pick up this hoe and go to work his father's land. And lo and behold, as he began to work the earth, he discovered that in his own backyard there were acres of diamonds. He had gone all over the place looking for his fortune, only to find out in his own backyard. Now, what does that mean for Nigerians? 2 days ago, I was at the Hilton in Abuja. When I went to have breakfast, they had news sheets in Chinese, in French, in Spanish, in German, in English. People are coming here from all over the world because they know something that many Nigerians have not figured out. Here, in your own backyard, there are acres of diamonds. The opportunities are waiting for you. Pick up your tools and get to work. God bless you. Thank you.
I was going to comment on that situation that the guy said.
That was a secret. The first time I ever heard, you remember we did the program honoring Dr. King?
Yes, ma'am.
I said, can we do We Shall Overcome?
We shall overcome.
In Wazobia?
Yes.
Hausa, Igbo,
Yoruba. Oh my God.
Yes. So we're gonna have a little
Yes, let's have one.
Dr. Atim George, former Country Public Affairs Officer of the U.S. Embassy in Abuja, and Deputy Director Charles Hirango, International Affairs Program, Howard University. How much better can it get? Please, another round. Our Acting Consul General, listen. Our Acting Consul General had a very important meeting to attend to, so we also extend our very kind appreciation to her as well. And I know Ebony is sitting at the back there, all the way from the US, and sat throughout this program. And this is how we do it. You know, let's give her a round of applause. And this is Chief is over there, so she's gone. So we'll definitely send out a warm appreciation to her as well. Abiola, it's good to see you again. I know we didn't make you a speaker this time, but you know, Abiola cannot come to an event and not see you. So thank you so much for being there. Thank you to all the different schools here and all the media. I can't even thank everybody. You know, this has been one, don't want to use the word that word, it's been one great program. So I will not go that, I'm laying that on my team. And you know, she used to tell us, blessed are the flexible, you shall not be bent out of shape. I don't forget that in PAS. I just can't end this program without really highlighting, you know, for the record, I know some people came late, but we should take this home. You know, her topic, as you know, was She Got Game 2015. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Pardon the voice. And she started off by, you know, analyzing her topic by using the game of chess. Apparently, I know a lot of us here don't play chess, but I think it's an encouragement that we should actually all get into playing that game of chess, and actually it will help us to strategize better. And she also gave us these famous quotes. Girls, if you haven't written it down, I think you should. She said, when preparedness meets opportunity, they inevitably produce success. You know, and from that game of chess, she told us about the importance of the power grid within. We all have it, so we should actually exploit it, use it, not for only our own good, but for our immediate community and society at large. She talked to us about plan your work and work your plan. She said leaders are known as creative problem solvers. She went into talking about the importance of structural and institutional change. I know there's so many questions and comments came through that, and she emphasized the importance of parental care. Actually also asked, do we have something in place for single mothers? Food for thought. And she talked about, based on the questions, you know, that arose about the importance of actually gaining self-esteem. She said you could start by practicing in front of a mirror. Volunteer to be a speaker. Get into your societies, it could be the church, it could be the mosque, and see what the immediate needs are. From there you can assert yourself, from there you can start, you know, raising your self-esteem and being a value-added factor in your society. Also, she talked about and addressed the issues about the burden on women. From the comments and questions that we can see there's quite a lot. And she used her family to analyze and say, you know what, when push comes to shove, talk to your in-laws, talk to your brothers-in-laws, your sons-in-laws. But she said she doesn't really call them sons-in-law, she actually calls them sons-in-law. Because you know what sons-in-laws can sometimes. She said we should actually, from the other comments and questions on why we don't have more women in politics, the issue of the ministerial list came in. But then, it's important. And I know that somebody here volunteered to be, was it Yinka Davis's PA? To make sure that Yinka gets into politics. Pro bono. Volunteered to be manager. So, Yinka, food for thought for you there. And we talked about the quality of your life. What did Atim say? She said the quality of your life depends on the choices we make. So we need to think deeply about the choices we make. And then on the issue about how active can one be, at what age can girls get involved in sexual activities, she said, and she advised sternly, don't rush into sexual activities. There are other things that come first, like getting educated, being independent, and there's always a time for everything. She told us the story of Fatima and very well rounded it up with Remi's story. The diamonds are in your backyard. Thank you very much. I really can't thank Adolescent. We really made this year's International Day of the Daughter really, really interesting. You know, you're a powerhouse yourself, and you know that. Another round of applause for Atim. you so much. Thank you all for coming. I thank also everybody who's made this a success. We also thank all those who participated from different parts of Nigeria to our American callers. We thank our IRC director and my colleague Ibrahim, who's walked around the clock. Ayo is there, our press section. I thank all the media here. So I know the word is going to get out, and I know we're going to use it for positive change. I was telling Atim when she was calling Oyinka, we wanted to make it a surprise for you. That's why we wanted Oyinka to come along. We know she's one of your favorites, and you've won very well. We actually would like to call now on Yinka Davis. She's one of Nigeria's greatest jazz singers. And if you don't know Yinka Davis, I don't know how else to say it. So this comes entertainment, and this is entertainment aspect. And sing your heart out, Yinka, for Atim. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And just refreshing.
Before I sing at all, please forgive me. I want to thank all the students. Sorry, what's your school? I can't hear you. That's Ikeja or which one? What's your school? Huh? Where's that? Yanoba. Where's Iba? Oh, wow. All of you are. When we were growing up, this school, only 10 is the first. Used to be the first. Now, check out the questions those people of the number ask. They ask the question. The only thing my observation for you, your intelligence is profound. But you see, I was trying to describe something to the lady I was talking to outside. There's a difference between relating to elders and when you ask questions. Because when you ask the question to a Yoruba person, it will be rude. To an Igbo person, it is normal. To the northerner, it is an insult. You see the differences? We must find ourselves. I need you to understand, students, it's not to invite you. You must identify the differences between the places. The Igbos, they stretch their hands. The Yorubas, they kneel. The Hausas, they squat. You must see the differences and then to respect one another and accommodate each other's differences. You're a student, you're young, yes, but your question was powerful. I loved it. At the same time, the delivery was my concern. God bless that lady. All of you that ask questions, you are wonderful. God bless you. Bless you, bless you all. Thank you so much for coming to our show. This is our show now. You all, and this I'm going to sit with you right now. Yeah. So let us just sing together now. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a better day. So let's start giving. Bless the church for making. We're saving our lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me. Oh, forgive me again. I'm going to go to another thing. Let me tell you something that I don't know if Madam Eneida George, right, was talking to me. When she met me 15 years ago, I ramble. I don't talk straight. I don't talk directly. My PA does not know me well. But I will explain to him. The reason why I never go near politics is because education is not my business. Amen. It is bad. Never let your children not be educated. I did not go. I refused to continue. You understand my point? Mine is a decision. I decided not to continue school. Why? Because I had so much going on in my home, in my house, in my family. I could not concentrate. I love her. I love Miss Atim. You hear what she said? She said she got on top of a chair. My own getting on top of a chair was rebellion. Her own getting on top of a chair was to save classes. You see the difference? That's the thing that you need to understand. Don't be like me. Wake up and find out. She said she must identify yourself. It took a lot. You know what when Eneida George told me To whom much is given. It was a warning to me. If you continue in this way you're going, you will end up bad. And I had to wake up. It was self-discovery. Do you understand? Please, children, look at me today. You people are saying that the superstar. You don't know what the superstar was doing. The superstar does not want to go to school. I want to be a truant. And that's a bad thing. Honestly, don't be a truant. So you want me to be in politics, or MP? You have to pray hard so that people will receive me. You know, so that when I say vote for you candidates, it is only for everything. That she will correct everybody. She will not do as she's correcting you, she's correcting herself. Yeah. You see, so if you're going to politics, we are the one. We are the children. Shall we shake ourselves? Let's go to my first song. We are the ones who make a better day. So next time we do that. Let's not just make it. Let's go now. We say our lives is to make a better day. Just you and me. We are the ones. We are the children. We are the ones. Sing up, shout it. Better choice to make it. We say it our life is to make a better day for you and me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please have your seat, please.